Well, hello and welcome to my channel. My name's Lyndon. Thank you so much for coming. In today's video, I want to give you 4 really cool blues scale licks that you can use jamming or just having fun with, or they're just fantastic licks. They're always going to work and they're all based on a blues scale. So what we're going to do is I'm going to dive into the construction of a blues scale, because rather than just teach you one blues scale, what I'd really like to do is, if I can show you the construction of a blues scale and how it connects to other things, which I'm going to do really quickly, then you'll know all blues scales and you can work all the blues scales out for yourself. Yes, then I know I've done a brilliant job. So let's have a look at that. Before I do, I just want to say thank you to everybody for your lovely comments. They make such a huge difference. Your brilliant feedback for suggestions and things, and just want to say hello world, YouTube, saxophone people world. Really lovely of you to buy me coffees and support the making of this channel. Right, let's have a quick dive in. The way that I think about blues scales is I kind of connect them in a way to major scales. So let's have a look. Look, here's C major, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. And if I take the second mode, I'm going to rattle through this quickly. If there's anything that you don't understand, just ask in the comments or send me a message. But hopefully, or have a look at my other tutorials, because there's a lot of answers there. The second mode of C is D minor. So that's D, E, F, G, A, B, C and D. And this D here would have the octave key on, and this would be written down D minor 7. Now if you take the root and the third and the fifth and the seventh, these would be the chord tones, which if you've watched any of my videos before, you'll know that the chord tones are really massively significant, super important. Now look, if I add in the fourth note, look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If I add in the fourth note, D, F, G, A, C, and put a D on the end, and this is a minor pentatonic. That's a minor pentatonic, pent 5 note, it's just a minor 5 note scale. And if I, so that's if I add the fourth. And if I add the flat 5, so if I count up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, if I add this note flattened, I'm going to call it G sharp. It could be G sharp or A flat, but I get this: D, F, G, G sharp, A, C and D. And this is my blues scale. Bum bum bum, blues scale. It is the most magical thing, and this D here would have the octave key on. And I could do that in 2 octaves, and that sequence of notes is like magic. So let's see what that sounds like on a tenor saxophone. My gorgeous tenor, beautiful thing. Right. Coming down from there. Sounds absolutely fantastic. I mean, to my ear, that sounds very cool just on its own with no backing track. But if you put it to a backing track, it sounds amazing even when you just play it up and down, which is why I completely fell in love with blues scales, which is a whole other story. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to work out 4 really cool licks. Now, full disclaimer, these are ones that I made earlier. I did work these out. But what I want to do is I want to write out the scale at the bottom of my sheet so that you can see the construction. So look, if I write down the blues scale, D, F, G, G sharp, A, C and D, and oh, that's a terrible D. And if I do that again, D, F, G, G sharp, A and C and D, and these guys have got the octave key on. My previous pen just died. So I'm using another one, doesn't work quite so well, but never mind, hopefully you'll get the idea. So here's my 4 blues scale licks, 4 blues scale licks. And all of these licks have a question and answer feel to them, which sounds really, really, really nice when you're improvising. And it's not rocket science. All you do is think of a nice phrase, and I'll show you how you can do that. And then you repeat exactly the same phrase, but just change one note. It's fantastic, maybe 2 notes if you're being really daring, but that's all you need to do. So your first phrase is G sharp, G, F, D, F, G, and G sharp, G, F, G, F. And this is phrase number 1. Okay, cool. And if we look at the construction, look, it's not hard. I'm starting on the flat 5. Da, dee, da, do, dee, da. Can you see that? I'm just going up and down the first 4 notes. And then second time, dee, da, do, dee, da. It's going to sound absolutely fantastic. And if I do that without a backing track first. Then already sounds absolutely brilliant. Now I'm going to put that to my backing track. The backing track that I'm using for this is Session Band Jazz Volume 3. I've got it on Swing Funk. I've made it into a D minor, and I've gone into the settings here, the controls, and I've muted off the trumpet and the metronome. And I'm making sure that this is in B flat for my gorgeous tenor sax. So let's see what that sounds like. Doesn't that sound nice? Really, really, really cool, funky phrase. So my pen, my second pen just died. Cannot believe it. Not having any luck with pens this morning. Right, let's have a look. So if this is a different colour, that's because I've run out of pens. Right, so let's have a look at the second phrase. So we've got G sharp, A, C, D, D, C, D, F, D, and these guys, and this guy, and these guys have got the octave key on. And I'm going to do exactly the same thing. G sharp, A, C, D, D, C, D, C, A. Look at that, it's so straightforward. And let's have a quick look. These guys with the line across the top have got the octave key on. Let's have a quick look at the construction. So you've got G sharp, A, C, D, D. Look, it's just going up the scale. C, D, F, D. Can you see that? When you write it out in a long line like this, it looks quite complex. But when you see it in terms of the actual scale running up and down, you can see how simple that is. Let me chuck that straight onto a backing track and see what that sounds like. Well, I think that sounds absolutely brilliant. Really, really, really nice. Right, let's have a look at the next one then. So the next one's going up the octave, and I've got G, G sharp, G. Again, just moving around the scale, F, D, D, really straightforward. And all of these notes have got the octave key on, and then G, G sharp, G, F, D. And this is, as you can see, a phrase where it's exactly the same, but just changing one note. And again, look at the construction. G, G sharp, G, F, D, D. and then just repeat that and knock off one of the notes. Again, I'll chuck that straight on with a backing track. It's going to sound lovely. Love that, absolutely fantastic. Sounds so nice. Right, and we've got one more lick and then we'll put everything together and it will sound like a really nice solo. So the last one is C, D, F, D, G, F, D, F, and then we repeat exactly the same phrase and just change one note at the end, D, D. And all of these guys here have got the octave key on, octave key on. Let's look at the construction again because it's so straightforward. C, D, F, D, G, F, D, F. And then exactly the same but with a D at the end. Really straightforward. And let's see what that sounds like. Again, sounds absolutely lovely to my ear. I think it's a really strong phrase. So let's put all of those phrases together. And by the way, when you create phrases like this which repeat, it's always going to sound better than if you do an idea over here and another idea and another idea and another idea and another idea and another idea. That's okay to play like that, but that's not going to sound as connected as if you do an idea and you repeat it and develop it and then move on to another idea and repeat and develop that and maybe go back to the first idea. That stronger structure is just going to sound better to the ear. So when you kind of get into the habit of playing phrases like this, your solos are going to sound tighter. So it really does work. Try it. Okay, cool. So let's put all of these together. Here we go. Sounds absolutely great, and that would be a fantastic solo if I played that. If I played solos like that, if I was in a funk band and I played solos, the band would be like, yes mate, sounds absolutely fantastic. So I hope that's useful to you, and if you've got any questions about that, do put them in the comments below or contact me. I'm not hard to find. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you for buying me coffees. Thank you so much for your positive comments. They really do mean such a lot to me and my family. It makes an absolutely huge difference. So I hope that was useful to you, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next video. Take care, YouTube. Bye.